Hi, my name's Kate Amory and today I'm going to talk to you about another data governance and privacy question. This question relates to data privacy management and how the DPM solution, data privacy management, and related masking solutions actually connect to the center of our governance solution, Axon and EDC. We've talked in other videos about how Axon and EDC support one another and integrate with one another. Just to recap quickly, Axon is the center of our governance view. It's where we keep our business context and link data to things like its owners, the glossary concepts which define it, the processes in which it's used, the projects, the policies, the systems, so on and so forth. There's a lot of information in Axon to really give you that connected view of your data, business, and technical landscape. EDC is our enterprise data catalog, which we use for the scanning and the harvesting of technical metadata, so we understand in the first place where the data is, understand lineage, and we actually bring that into Axon to then enrich with that business context I was talking about. So that's your kind of two sides of the same coin, Axon for the business side, EDC for the technical side, your view, centralized place for governance. But how does data privacy management get involved? Well, EDC and DPM share a lot of the same capabilities in that they are both looking at the underlying data to understand where it is, but data privacy management is very much focused on personal data. And it's actually doing quite a lot more than just cataloging, it's actually assessing risk related to the personal data that it's tracking and understanding the whereabouts of. So EDC and DPM do a bit of similar stuff in terms of knowing where the data is physically, but DPM's doing a fair amount more in relation to privacy, protection, risk scores. Axon and DPM also integrate because Axon has important information like how data is used, personal data is used within the context of processes. So we would pass the business processes that are managing personal data through to DPM so that the privacy team are available to see them. We would also pass from DPM to Axon information like to do with the risk scores. So we can hook up the system risk scores or the risk scores related to particular policies and show those in Axon. We can even have policies which, if they're violated, create a flag in Axon so your governance team know to go and investigate. For instance, where credit card number and first name and last name are found together, there should always be some masking involved. If there isn't, there might be a policy violation which is flagged in Axon and can then be resolved through a workflow, collaboration, and fixing the issue. Now, I briefly referred to masking in that example, and it's important to note that DPM, the data privacy management tool, connects to our masking capabilities. So we are able to mask data in two different ways. We can mask it persistently. That's generally something we would maybe want to do for test data. And we can also mask it dynamically so that it's not a permanent change, it's just something temporary when it's in certain circumstances or systems. Both of these masking technologies can be controlled and triggered from data privacy management. So if you imagine the full flow being something like this, in Axon you might have a business process for onboarding a customer. You understand where all that data is and how it's flowed through all the systems. Because of EDC, you've got your full technical lineage brought in and you're understanding the data flows from that perspective. You then want to understand where the risks are. If you're transferring the data as a part of that process to another entity, for instance, maybe to another country, you're going to trigger some GDPR concerns, and maybe you're going to need an appropriate safeguard in place, like keeping the data masked. This is how you can go from governance to understanding to risk understanding to actually taking action to mask and protect personal data. All in all, these work really well to help you combat different compliance requirements to do with, could be GDPR, CCPA, countless others, really understanding where the data is, how it's being used, and how you should be protecting it as a result. Thank you very much for listening.